Alright, well listen up everyone. There was a video that came on my recommended earlier today. Big Ducks. I like him as a streamer, or as a YouTuber. Particularly, one of his videos is responsible for me even getting into the game in the first place. So, always gotta give a shout out to Big Ducks. However, what is this? Why streamer currency strategies don't work. I feel attacked. Just by that title. I feel attacked. I made my whole identity around that. Dude, we gotta hear what he says. Now, I know Big Ducks is more oriented towards the average player, or the beginner player. Hence, me watching one of his videos. I started playing. And so I don't really watch him that much anymore, because he has a wide audience, but I've kind of graduated from his content for the most part. But I'm gonna watch this, so... He definitely hooked me, hook, line, and sinker with this one. Just look at that thumbnail. That's good. What's he saying?
There's this kind of theory. Currency strategies are an interesting topic in Path of Exile, because unlike build guides where within a league the power of the build typically stays the same, even if the cost and efficiency of it possibly doesn't, currency strategies are constantly changing. There's this kind of theory that's going around that I've wanted to push back on a little bit, that tier 17s are pricing people out of being able to do strategies, and that tier 16 farming strategies essentially just don't exist and you can't make money elsewhere. Even up to the last couple of days, I personally have been running some tier...
So right off the bat, I don't feel it's attacked anymore because I've been making content for tier 16s. Almost exclusively. So, I mean, this is a typical argument. I don't know how much I buy into this argument generally, but it just so happens that I've been focusing more on T16 content and kind of riding that wave like, haha, look at me, I'm not making T17 content. You can't get after me because I'm doing only the elite stuff. No, 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 no. I'm doing T16 stuff just like the average gamer. I got a little bit of that going on, but anyway.
Tier 16 strategies, which still make plenty of currency, but of course they aren't making as much as tier 17. However, I kind of think this is a good thing because tier 17s are significantly harder than tier 16s.
True.
And they're much, much more balanced this league. The thing that I want to talk about more is streamer or content creator strategies. A large portion, if not all, of the vocal minority in the PoE community is probably a very large consumer of PoE content. They've followed or subscribed essentially every single content creator that could ever post a video strategy about anything, and there's this one glaring issue with content creator strategies that I kind of want to go over in this video. If you're enjoying this content, make sure to give it a like so that you see more videos like this, and consider subscribing to the YouTube channel as well to stay up to date with all my latest content.
Guys, what is the glaring issue about just following a streamer blindly in his content? What issue could there possibly be? There's no issue with that. It is the perfect strategy. Or am I going to be proven wrong?
Without further ado, let's talk about why streamer currency strategies don't work. Now, this is a problem that I've known about for a very long time, and I want to preface this by saying that I think there are very few, if any, content creators who are maliciously...
Skill differences. Probably the best answer, yeah.
Doing this. So let's not go on any witch hunts about, content creators ruining the economy or anything like that. They're just trying to help, but unfortunately there's a problem with the help. Now, one of the biggest things that I've noticed under the comment sections on YouTube about currency strategy videos is a lot of people will see a video say, hey, 30, 50, 60, 80 divine per hour. They try it themselves and they get a fraction of that. So let's talk about what a currency strategy is. So every currency strategy is going to have two main components.
I don't know what he's talking about. All my comments saying, oh my god, Snoot, it's the best strat ever. Thanks for saving my league. You're the best. That's basically all my comments.
There's the investment portion, which is known as juice. This is going to be things like scarabs. This is going to be things like delirium orbs. So these here. This is juice that you're going to be putting into your map. Typically, the logic has always gone that you put more juice into your map and you get more out of it. That's not always the case, but if you are doing it...
Yeah, that's become less and less the case over time as the Atlas has been created and become more and more powerful. It's definitely not the case really early in the league. But it does kind of become the case still as the league progresses on. Certainly, like after month 1.
Properly, that is typically how it goes. And then the other half of a currency strategy is going to be the gross amount of currency that you made. When I say gross, I don't mean disgusting. I just mean the total amount of currency. This is the loot that you get. This is going to be things like raw currency or divination cards or things like that, right? There's some specific strategies that'll drop things like specific fragments or harvest juice or things. Now, when you take the amount of juice that you spend on a map and you subtract it from the gross amount that you obtained by doing the map, this is where you get your net, or the actual profit that you're making. People list this as divines per hour.
I like how he's actually breaking it down. Like, I just take all this for granted because I'm typically not talking to very, very beginner players who would not even realize that they should conceptualize gross profit, net profit, and stuff. I mean, it's kind of given. Well, I mean, I kind of have an expectation that who I'm dealing with has been to school at least long enough to know the difference between gross and net and costs and income and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't take it for granted, but I'm kind of glad he just breaks it down, like, just in case. Div per hour, very important expression.
Most of the time they use a tool like Wealthy Exile. So for example, this is my Wealthy Exile. I have just spent a ton of money. As you can see, like I was up at like 100 divine and it's kind of just like tanked and I'm making a little bit back here. But people will track this. You can take snapshots and see how much currency that you're making per hour. Is a pretty common thing among like content creators and such. This all is kind of the basics of what a currency strategy is. You put a certain amount of juice in, you get a certain amount of loot, and when you do the math between those things, you get how much profit you're getting per hour or per map, however you want to go about it. So here's where the problem comes in. So a streamer makes a video, right? Like say any content creator says, hey, I'm doing this strategy and it's working really well.
Is he not going to drop any names on this video? He's got to name check somebody.
I'm making 50 divines an hour, you should try it too. There's two particular kind of issues that happen whenever a content creator makes a video. So as we said before, if we go and look at something like scarabs, there are going to be some particular scarabs that get these like insane rise in costs that you can see here. Ones that just suddenly skyrocket by 50%, 60%, 100%. And you'll see these really giant scales up like this. Typically when this is happening, this is something that someone is saying, hey, here's this cool new strategy, you should try it, and immediately the
I never knew you could check by like the percentage of raise in the last 7 days, like that's just a telltale sign that, oh, somebody made a video. I guess so. That could be the case.
Desire for this currency or the demand for this juice goes way through the roof. Now, this isn't really that big of a deal because typically you can supply the juice pretty easily. Like, yeah, the price is going to go up, but people are going to be like, oh, well, I need to go farm those things, right? Say delirium orbs get super expensive. People are like, okay, well, I'm going to go farm delirium orbs and sell them to those people. So it kind of evens out a little bit. Say, for example, the juice to start a map starts at like 20 chaos per map or so, and that content creator releases a video, and it spikes up to 40 chaos. After a few days, it'll probably start to come back down a little bit, and it'll land somewhere in like the 25 to 30 C per map, right? A little bit higher than it was previously because more people are aware about it, but not the huge giant spike that it was at. This is typically what you'll see with situations like this where you have this giant upward curve and then it just kind of slowly goes down over time. The problem is on the other side. The problem is on the loot. So what ends up happening is that not only does the demand for the juice increase, the supply of the loot actually increases quite a bit as well. There's a lot.
Not only does the demand for the juice increase, which is pretty obvious and generally going to think of that right away. I mean, that is interesting. He brings that up. Good to bring that up. I sometimes don't. I mean, I do think about that when it's relevant. Like certain farms I do where the value of what you're primarily farming is, shall we say, volatile in the marketplace. Like the Chayula Breach farm, perhaps the breach stones could go down in value. I've seen it happen before in one of my other videos. Not like tanking like crazy, but definitely going down a little bit. But most of the time, farming like divination cards or just raw currency, and or even like the first farm of the league, which was just Legion stuff. Just so much different kind of stuff coming from all over the place that even if one particular thing, like if emblems tank, for example, it doesn't really mean a lot for the strategy in general. So yeah, I mean that is an interesting thing. But it depends on the strat, and I guess I just naturally stay away from strats that would do that, be greatly impacted by that, for the most part.
Lot more people running that strategy. And depending on what that loot is, you can have situations where the loot supply is suddenly massive and there's not really anybody to buy it. So the price just keeps going down, 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 down. Now, in the most extreme circumstances, we've seen currency strategies absolutely tank the cost of just generic items in the game. Like, it's tanked the cost of divine orbs before. It's just completely tanked the cost of basically all scarabs except the ones that people were using at the time. Like right
Sorry, can you guys tell me the last time that a streamer made a video and it had so much impact that it tanked the value of divine orbs? I mean, the only thing that I can think on a personal level is maybe God touched farming in Calandra, farming divines that way, did something like that, but I think that was more of a thing of me being the only person making any content at all in that league at that point. I think that was the bigger factor that time, but maybe Affliction League, so many divines. I don't know.
Right now, ambush scarabs are the big thing right now. Ambush scarabs are way up here. Like, if we look at just ambush, 170, 20, 9. These three scarabs.
Okay, for the sake of ambush, I know what he's talking about here because ambush is popular. That's not one content creator. Okay, like everyone's doing that because it is really good. And there's so many different varieties of ambush scarab. Like, you can use the monstrous treasure ambush scarab of containment or not. You can use discernment or not. You can use the other ones or not. You can use pilfering or not. Like, there's a lot of different variations within that rubric that you just gotta be a little bit flexible with it. But it's not like one content creator made a video on it. I made a video before most people did on using farming ambush in T17 and gave an example of 4 different videos. I don't think that magically... In fact, I even kind of verified that didn't massively impact the market for those scarabs at the time. So, I don't know. I think maybe they're just a little too common anyway. Well, containment scarab's not really common, but the others are. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is not the greatest example, this particular one.
Scarabs are super useful, and you can see that these giant spikes are happening because people are starting to realize it. So the problem you run into...
I mean, that's not a giant spike. We're starting week 3 of the league. All scarabs, virtually all scarabs are going up. The only scarabs that don't go up are ones that are just like dead scarabs that nobody uses because they're just bad. Which is, to be fair, a lot of them. But yeah.
Is that this huge supply, if it's not of just generic currency, if it's certain fragments or it's certain like league mechanic stuff, like there is just going to be this fall off in the actual amount of loot that you're getting. And what it does is it kind of moves the two sides together of like the amount of loot that you're getting and the cost of investing in it until it gets to the point where it kind of prices everybody out. And something that's happening here is that people are thinking that tier 17s are the problem. But realistically, the issue is that the sides are coming closer and closer, and the only thing that's keeping them from meeting is the fact that doing the strategy in tier 17s tends to be a little bit better because in general, tier 17s are more rewarding. So yeah, some of the most extreme examples are only going to be profitable in tier 17s, but that's not everything. For example, a strategy that I was doing a couple of days ago involved delirium orbs. What a lot of people don't realize is that these diviners delirium orbs, they changed these when they did the stacked deck change a little bit ago, and no longer do they just give you like a random amount of things. These always give you 1 stacked deck per delirium orb that you use on a map every single time. So the idea is that you can set up something where you're doing tier 16 maps, whatever they might be, and you are just trying to brute force as many rewards as you possibly can and get out of the map. There was a setup that I was doing with 4 diviners delirium orbs, and I was putting like breaches and beyond on my map device, zooming through the map, killing as many things as I could as quickly as I could, getting to like 17 rewards and then just dipping, just trying to get my maps per hour as high as I possibly could. And I was making a ton of money in tier 16s. Yeah, they were 80% delirious, but you know, I was doing it on just a random bow character. It wasn't that invested, and I could zoom through those maps. Currently, Diviner's Delirium Orbs are about 5 chaos each. I was buying these for 15 to a Divine. And when I was buying them at 15 of these to a Divine, I was making a pretty good amount of currency, like 0.3 Divine per map. And the problem that we run into now is that a bunch of you are like, oh, I kind of want to try that strategy. Can you show me? Even by me just talking about this Diviner's Delirium Orb, there's probably going to be a noticeable uptick in the price of this.
Did anybody try that strat? I'm sure Big Ducks isn't the only one that thought of rocking some Breach Beyond Deli Orb farming with Diviners. I mean, people are clearly doing it with the Skittering Deli Orb because it actually drops a lot of Scarabs, and so it's priced more accordingly, but this strat's been around for a long time. A lot of people know about this kind of farm. 60 to 80%, even 100% deli. Just cram a bunch of breaches on the map. Nope, I'm always following your strats only. Hey, you're not helping the cause here in this video. You can sit down.
Just from making this video, depending on how popular it gets. So the problem here is that I could give you that strategy, and maybe I'll make a video about the strategy, but the problem is that it immediately is going to be worth less. But this is kind of the effect that I think a lot of people are seeing, is that the demand for the juice is going up, meaning that the cost of it's going to go up, and the supply of the loot is also going up, meaning the cost of that is going to come down. It moves those two sides closer together, and it makes the strategy less viable. The margins, which is what that's called, like the amount that you can make, the profit that you can make, are getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. This is what pushes people into these tier 17 strategies, because just in general, tier 17s drop more currency.
Okay, so what I want to say is go faster. This was like my specialty back in the day anyway. Like, I would do strats at... Actually, this was kind of the grand solution to crushing margins from a streamer making a video. Because I would do a strat, and I really like the strat, and then make a video on it, and then the strat's not as profitable, so I just figure out how to go faster, or like streamline it even more. I might change a few tiny little things where like some rare scarab got outpriced and then replaced it with something else. I still never forget 1,000 Crimson Temple maps in Sentinel League doing Shrine Harbinger Enraged Strongbox juicing, and oh my god, it was like 3-minute maps. Clearing all the Harbingers, all the boxes, all the shrines. And I was wearing the Gull Helm at the time, and I just blasted those maps. It was a lot of fun, and I did 1,000 maps on it, and people obviously were following along, so the prices started raising, but I just went fast. So fast that it didn't matter. I beat the margins with speed. So that's one way around it.
They drop more scarabs, they drop more loot. I've talked a lot about what the actual problem is, and let's talk about some ways or some strategies that you can fix it. First off, strategies that aren't affected. Realistically here, these are things that are kind of insulated to that giant swing. There's really only 3 things that I could think of. One is just going to be the mechanic itself is unpopular. Think about how many heist videos that I've made, and I've never seen the price of heist type loot, like the currency per hour, fluctuate very much at all. Because people try out the heist mechanic.
I mean, I feel like I've never really done an unpopular mechanic, a video on an unpopular mechanic. I mean, the very first one I got any sort of fame for was Blight, and that was probably the least popular League mechanic I did, but at the time Blight was popular though. I remember 3.15, 3.16, 3.16 I think is when it was. Scourge League, Blight was actually popular then, kind of. Maybe not like in the juicing community, but I don't know. That's the last time I remember doing something that could be conceived as unpopular. Oh, ghosting. That's one more, yeah. Ghosting. Yeah, I did that. That was not very popular, to be fair. I mean, that was just an extension of a similar strongbox divination farm, though.
and they're like, man, I really just don't like this. And then they stop, and that's all there is to it. Something like rolling flasks, where you're just sitting in hideout being a hideout warrior, are absurdly boring. No one really wants to do this. So yeah, the profits are going to be huge because you're sitting there doing something awful and boring. And then last one, this is also the most interesting one, is that very difficult content gates some people out of doing it, which means that there's more profit to be had there because there's less people doing it. There are a couple other reasons that you're probably not making the same divine per hour. It's not always the content creator's fault, and I'm going to put these under something I like to call skill issue. There is a pretty big chance that you are not playing the game as efficiently, as fast, or as well as the content creator is. They probably do it for a living. They probably play 12 to 16 hours a day, and they most likely are just going to be better than you. So yeah, your div per hour is probably not going to be the same. Maybe you've got the wrong atlas.
I only play about 4 to 8 hours a day.
Tree, you're not using the correct juice, or you're just doing it wrong. Like, you're only getting 5 maps per hour instead of the 10 that the content creator is doing. Or maybe you don't know how to sell your items properly, or you're spending too much time selling items instead of just like bulk selling all of them at once.
I'll have you know that the difference between 4 to 8 hours versus 12 to 16 is greater than the difference between 4 to 8 hours and 0 to 0 hours.
A bunch of different things that you could be doing wrong, but
you can check my math on that.
But if you improve your skills a little bit, there's a pretty decent chance that you could get some better currency. And the last thing is, I kind of want to talk about how you can actually make more currency even with using these strategies. Be aware of what's going on. This one is a little hard because you have to kind of be like terminally PoE brained, but if you check a video, or even better, see the streamer doing it before they make a video about it, you've got a big head start on starting that strategy where you have enough time to be able to make a whole bunch of currency from it. So if you get in early, you're gonna have a better time. Even 6 to 12 hours after a strategy goes live, you can lose a lot of the potential margins that you would have had before. And on the flip side of that, you gotta know when to stop doing a strategy if the margins get too slim. If you're trying one strategy and all of a sudden you're like making only 1 or 2 divine per hour because the margins have just gotten so razor thin, stop.
Item filter too? Yeah, but you can just follow the streamer's item filter anyway, which is what a lot of people do. Oh my god, I haven't looked at the numbers in a while. I should go look at the numbers, see how many followers are on my filters now. It's in the thousands. I don't know what it is though.
Stop and look for something else. And what you can do in those moments is you can try to find an older strategy that isn't as popular anymore. Go think of all the league mechanics that you liked doing in the past and see if there's anything that you can figure out, like maybe I can do rituals, or maybe I can do some delirium stuff, or harvest, or anything else that's not like the current meta strategy of farming strong boxes and tier 17 content. And then, as I said, improving your efficiency, just getting more maps per hour done, this is just going to get you more currency almost no matter what you're doing. If you just play faster and play more, you're obviously going to make more money. And then the last thing, and this is the one that I want to talk about the most, is actively trying to get better at the game and actively trying to improve your character, or earning currency for a better character, is going to allow you to do harder content. This is the number one thing. If you've watched this entire video and you want to take away one point that's going to make you just significantly better at making money, is you need to just invest into your character. You need to make your character stronger, and you need to learn.
Is the filter insane strict up to date? It's the one I've been using for a while, so yeah. There might be some issue with it, but it should be... Like, I haven't done like a deep clean on my filters lately, so I should probably do that, but anyway, I think it's working fine. For one thing, if I'm using a filter and then like something is clearly missing on my filter, my audience will tell me. So, you know, talking about actual streamer privilege, that's streamer privilege. Hey dude, where's this thing? I'm noticing this isn't dropping in your maps. You might want to check your filter. Oh my god, it's not like a regular player doesn't have that privilege, so there are some actual streamer privileges, and that is one of them.
Learn how to play more difficult content. You would be surprised how straightforward it is that you can go from absolutely nothing to doing giga juiced tier 17 maps. You could do it in a couple of days. Absolutely. It's possible. You just have to work on making your character stronger and actively trying.
Dude, I'm gonna have to look at the comments on this video. I feel like people are gonna push back on that. No, I mean, with his audience being again, oriented towards more average players. I'm surprised you said that.
To improve yourself at the game, not just playing and, like seeing what happens. Try to figure out, why are you dying so much? Why are you not doing enough damage? Is there something I can do to make my character stronger? If you figure those things out, you're probably gonna have a better time. And that's gonna be it for the video. Notes are always down in the description. Is there something?
Wait, all right. So TLDR is be quick. How you can make more currency. Be quicker at starting the strategy before it gets too popular. All right, that's a FOMO. That's a FOMO response. It's not a great response because not everybody can do that. But yes, it's a good tip, guys. You should watch your favorite streamers streaming the strategy before they make a video on it. And especially when the streamer does like 100 maps or something before they make the video on it, you're going to get a good 2 or 3 days of doing that strat before it becomes popular. It's actually not a terrible idea.
Something I can do to make my character stronger? If you figure...
All right. Sorry. Next one. Know when to stop doing the strategy if profits dip too much. I don't understand this one. I know I've talked to people who say that they're like losing money. This is one that actually throws me for a loop. So I have people who do my strat. This, I can't even tell you how many times this happens. So I do a strat. All right. I do it for like, let's say I do it for like a day before I even stream it. Okay, and then I stream it the next day, starting with 100 maps, and it takes me like 2 days to do it. Okay, so I've now done it for a day. I've done it for 2 additional days, streaming it live. Then I make a video on it, okay? And then I do the exact same strategy the 4th and maybe even 5th day after I made a video on it. And I'm still making killer profits. Maybe a very small amount less, but still making great profit on it. And then I'll have people like on day 4 say, "Hey Snoo, I tried the strategy, man, but I don't think it's making profit anymore." I'm sitting here doing the exact same strat. I'm like literally taking a break from the identical strat to read the comment that says, "Hey, I don't think this strat's making any more profit." Dude, I can't tell you how many times that's happened to me, and I'm just like, okay, obviously you're like bricking maps because there's just no way. Like I try to put myself in their shoes and say, what would it take for me to not make currency? What would I have to be doing right now for me to suddenly not be making currency? That's the only answer. The only answer is that I just walk out with only half the loot or quarter the loot. Okay, then I would actually be losing some money. I don't know what the answer is. So I generally don't call people out on that. I don't want to be too harsh, but in terms of reaction to that comment, I think that one's kind of BS. I know it's going to resonate with some people, but I still think it's BS. And again, my answer would be the one that's two notches down, which is improve your efficiency and get more maps per hour. That is actually the real solution. Use an older strategy that has fallen off in popular. That's good. That's definitely 5-head. Yeah. Take a strat that a streamer did the league before is a good idea. Like, I still haven't advertised my item level 84 cluster farm, and I'm sure that's making decent currency. Although, being a poverty league and all, it's definitely making less, but relative to the power of how far a limited amount of currency will go this league, it's doing good. I will get to it eventually. So you've been warned. I haven't made a video on it yet, but you've been warned. Improve how good you are at the game and how strong your character is, allowed doing harder content, less contested. So this is basically saying purchase gear that improves your character in the short run, and even if that means like a sort of nonsensical upgrade in terms of how you're planning to upgrade the character, go ahead and do incremental upgrades, because in this game, unlike in Last Epoch, you can sell your equipment back after you've done it, after you've been using it. So unless you get completely screwed over by some sort of weird meta shift out of your, away from, like, you have to pay an arm and a leg for a piece because it's a meta, it's a meta build, and then suddenly, like, 3 days later, it's not a meta build anymore. I mean, okay, if that actually happens, maybe you get screwed over, but generally that's not going to be the case.
Figure those things out, you're probably gonna have a better time. And that's gonna be it for the video. Notes are always down in the description. And remember, boys, if you enjoy this content, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to YouTube channel, hit that notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest videos, and stay safe out there in Ray class. And I'll see you guys in the next video.
Absolutely, Big Ducks. He is a good content creator. That's a good video. It's got nice editing, and again, he is responsible indirectly for me picking up this game in the first place. So absolutely do think You guys should give him a like and a sub. I gotta see some of these comments though. Oh my god. Just a tip, guys, when people discover a gold mine, start selling shovels. Don't run for the gold. Okay. That's not a bad idea. But you can run for the gold too. That might be better. Find an enabler. This is the exact same thing about all the side hustle kind of YouTubers. The moment they make a video, you know it's dog shit unviable and you'll lose money. You must be pretty smart to know that, I guess. I think a lot of people don't know that. By the time the streamer posts a video, they are done with that farm and offloading the mats they have. Oh, come on. That's such a cynical comment. I do not do that. I don't think I've ever done that. I never, like, stockpile a massive quantity of materials, like, way beyond what I intend to showcase on stream, and then, like, have a crap ton of the content. Wait till Snoo farms 1,000 maps. Well, that's exactly a good situation. I'm glad you brought that up. I've never bought 1,000 scarabs, 1,000 maps worth of scarabs at once. I've never done that. I could never even afford to do that, generally. Because I'm always upgrading my character constantly, even if it's, like, incremental upgrades. Even if it's like into mere tier status or whatever. You guys know that. So I buy 100, maybe 200 maps worth of scarabs at once, even while doing the 1,000 map strat. So, I mean, that's how you guys know. And then I'll pay, and then my investment cost will actually adjust in real time because of it. So, I mean, you guys know I don't do that. That happened to me. Like the curation scarab went from, what did it go? It went from like 11 to 14 div per scarab, and that was like deeply affecting my earnings at one point, but oh well. They're finding the strategies on stream in front of thousands of people. You don't need to wait for the video. Everyone knows about the strat, just making up excuses. I mean, this one isn't really that true for me because I'm a lot more popular on YouTube than I am on Twitch. But if it's the reverse of this, that is true, I guess. But absolutely, like, while I'm making a farm, the market will only adjust so much, and then when I drop the video, that's when it adjusts the most, for sure. Like, it's not like everybody knows about it suddenly. How to get loot in 3 steps, kill stuff, ? Profit, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Uh-oh, somebody got name dropped. Fubgun. It's a prime example. Any strat he does on stream gets gutted after 30 minutes. Literal, GGG just hot fixes it, basically. Because everyone's watching. Well, Fubgun's an example of somebody who's way more popular on stream than he is on YouTube. So that is true. Like, people are like tuning into his streams like crazy, and then after the YouTube video drops, I mean, I suppose it impacts it somewhat still, but yeah, he's a great example of what I'm talking about. His strongbox strat still prints money like crazy. Ha! Typical Reddit take. I've been doing this T17 strongbox stuff for a week now, and it's been a constant 20-25 div an hour. You know, I could probably start doing it right now and be 20-25 div an hour. True. Yeah. I mean, that strat's pretty core. I mean, it's not that niche, right? It's just a straight up good strat. It's not going to magically... You're farming scarabs, currency, divination cards, everything. It's not like you're just going to randomly start making less currency. And the scarabs aren't that rare anyway. He's not even doing the monstrous treasure version, I think, for the most part. Really nothing new. Also, okay. Whoa, that's a lot of comments. This video has a lot of comments. I read a few of them. I don't want to make this too much time. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Most ethical PoE YouTuber ever. I'm glad I found you. You're my replacement for Target Cat. Whatever happened to him? Oh my god. Some of the old guard is just gone now. Uh-oh. There are 2 main reasons why I don't like the currency per hour mindset. Uh-oh. This somebody probably doesn't like me. It assumes that you are running maps at least as efficiently as the person telling you about the strategy, which is very often not the case. Okay, I'm not going to argue with that. Sure. That's on them, though. 2, slightly longer. You generally need a build that can clear screens at movement speed, with your movement speed being at least 200%, while also being tanky enough to survive all the juice you need to throw on the map to make this strategy work, which will very frequently gate the vast majority of builds out of the conversation. Whew. In fact, this... Oh, the sentence is not over yet. In fact, this often leads to players trying to emulate the exact build that the content creator used to do this strategy, which ends up putting them in the red rather than making actual profit. Period. All right, English teacher vibes. I had to say it. I can't believe you wrote the sentence. Oh, you wrote the... Oh, the parentheses is after. Hey, you put the parentheses before the period. Come on. Come on now. It will never happen, but I wish the community could talk about currency strat based on per map profits rather than per hour. Okay, I've actually bent the knee to that. Okay, I used to not even calculate strats per map. I used to only do per hour because that's all I cared about. That was much more important to me since efficiency was a big part of my brand. But I had so many people saying, hey, what is the per map? I don't care about per hour. What's the per map? So I do both now. I go ahead and do both. And it's fine. I can do both. It's not like I have to calculate something crazy. The thing is, for strats like T16 Scarab you uploaded, you need a decent amount of luck to make currency. I feel I ran 100 of them, did make 9 div an hour. 9 div an hour is fine. That's not much lower than what I did. With the ambush strat on T16, you don't need any luck to make 18 div an hour, and that's what I hope they fixed. Remove. Well, for one thing, you might not be factoring in very much the cost of rolling those maps and or like getting them and the time it takes to roll them, which is fine. I mean, you don't have to, but you know, a lot of builds can't just run any tier 17 map. They're going to spend an arm and a leg rolling them to make them viable, to be fair, and that's not something you have to do so much on T16s. But if you're talking about 9 div an hour, my strat, I got like 11 or 12. No, I got like 12 and a half, I think, so it's not even that far off. Yo, what's up guys, here Grim here. In today's video I'm going to showcase new strategy and farm Mage Blood in 48 hours. It will be ruined after this video and the market will be destroyed. I mean, it's just day one Legion. It's just day one Legion. I already know what his strat is. I didn't even see the video. Streamer strategies don't work since you're not playing PoE 10 to 12 hours a day. Come on. Oh my god. Wow. These guys think streamers are just so sweaty. Not all streamers are super sweaty. I'm not even sweaty at League Start. Well, relative to what some people envision streamers are. Like, I'm not Kobe Black Mamba sweaty. That's for sure. That guy was sweaty as hell this league. He did like 36 hours straight. And he had a headhunter after like 32 hours. Without logging off. with the trader. Oh my god. Another one of these comments. The strats only work because they play 15 hours a day. That's how to make currency. Oh my god. Way too many people butthurt about this notion that you have to play all day every day to make any currency. Or even good currency. Ugh. My god. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me when I see that kind of comment. You know, there are certain times when I'm like busier with work and I'm only playing like an average of like 2 to 3 hours a day. I still make crazy amount of currency. In those 2 or 3 hours. Jeez. 1 div per day enjoyer. Popular video I see. It's getting a lot of comments. I bet this one's like loaded up on YouTube. And, or rather Reddit. Alcan Go is in a great shot now. Oh my god. Enough comments, my guy. Popular video. Why streamer currency strategies don't work? Well, there you go. That's the answer. Everything you saw in the video. Take it from me. As a streamer that advertises currency strategies that always work. Enough said.
A few minutes later.
What? Where was this? Where was this last time, dude? I got 3 semi-jackpot drops on this and a 4th mini-jackpot. What? Desecrated Virtue, Sephiroth, and the Nurse. Quick. Buy all the containment. Buy all the containment, quick. Quick, before the streamer makes the video! Quickly! Buy them all! Now! Go! Go! You saw it here first! Massive jackpots! Oh my god! Hit all the whispers! Top to bottom! Do not delay! No! I'm missing them all! I missed them all! Wait, do I have enough? I got 10 divines. Oh no, I need to liquefy and then I can buy them. No. Why am I broke? Spam.
A few minutes later.
I mean, look, there's over 300 of you in here. Who is an expert on monstrous treasure? That's a little different than last time. Sell. Scammed. Bait strat. Sell all your materials. Terrible. Loses currency every map. Almost every map.